Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Heart Talk. Today is the 12th day of February in the year 2019. I am Sue Ellen Dickinson. You already know that. And I'm going to be your host and with you over the course of the next hour or so. And before we get jump into it, who just joined us? Welcome to Heart Talk. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from.
Heather.
Hi, Heather. Glad you're on board with us. Good. All right. Well, let's just keep on going because Heart Talk is so much more than an ordinary call, because this is where you can speak your mind straight from your heart. And as you know, that is exactly what we're going to do today, just like we do every day, or every Tuesday, I should say. And Heart Talk is brought to you by The Essentials. Yep. The Essentials. And in case you don't know what those are, they are an amazing supplemental formula designed, created, and formulated by our very own Dr. Rudy Cartwright, who is, of course, a wonderful friend of Heart Talk and all of us here. But also he is a very well-renowned neurosurgeon. That's a brain surgeon. And also an expert in MS. Imagine that. And he is here to help us, and in doing so, in large part, he has created these wonderful essentials. And they are designed to help get rid of your fatigue, pain, tingling, and numbness, help with vision problems and balance, and clear up that pesky old brain fog, which you know I love to hate. That was the worst one for me. But the essentials can be taken with your current medications, and they are made up of all natural ingredients. And let me tell you something. These essentials are truly helping people to feel better, one less symptom at a time. So I urge you, if you haven't tried them already, give them a shot. What in the world do you have to lose except maybe, a symptom or two? And you're probably saying, okay, well, where do I get these essentials? Great question. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to work on getting an email out to you that's going to have the replay link in it so that you can listen again to this great conversation we're about to have. Share it with family and friends and help to enlighten them as well with what's going on in, Heart Talk country here. But also, if you scroll down in that same email, you'll see in big capital letters, Get Dr. Cartwright Supplements, and look for the link for the essentials. You'll see it right there. Click on that. You'll get much more information than I have time to give you here, but and also a full list of the ingredients. Click on that button and pick yourself up a bottle, because I know you're going to be glad you did, because these essentials truly are helping people to feel better, one less symptom at a time. And like I said, what have you got to lose by giving them a try, except maybe a symptom or two? So there you go. So look for that email, and that'll be coming your way. Oh, it usually takes me, an hour to hour and a half to get that off to you once we're done with the call. So anyway, and of course, as always, with any questions or anything of that nature, send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you. So anyway, interesting subject this week, but I also know that we've got a lot of stuff going on in everybody's lives, kind of behind the scenes. Stuff is happening at a very rapid pace. We've got, somebody on the line who had a real close call this morning. Marion, so glad you're all right. That was
Thank you.
Close shave there, girl. And, the angels were there to catch you midair, weren't they, as you fell to the ground.
Amen.
But you weren't hurt, and that's what matters, And so,
right.
so what if people grumble? They get an inconvenience because they've got to help us out once in a while. It's all a learning curve for us, and we've discussed that many times. So we can get back there and talk about that. And Sherry, I know we've got you on the call, and those of us who got your email last night, we know that it's pretty dicey weather-wise where you are. And I, for one, have been concerned, along with many others of you that are on the call who live in these areas that are really being victimized by some of these, and I don't use that term lightly, victimized by all this very harsh and cruel weather that is coming your way. So anyway, just want to let you know that you too have been in our prayers around here. And, that weather stuff doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon, does it? Just glad you're all right. And everybody else. But anyway, speaking of all of that, and getting right down to kind of the nitty-gritty of what's going on in life with everybody, I thought maybe this turns out to be even more of an apropos topic than I thought when I selected it, because there's a lot to be said in favor of some very raw candor and just plain old down-to-earth honesty about even the most difficult circumstances in life. And I know some of you are going through some pretty rough stuff right now. But here's Devin Garlit back once again, navigating us through those harsh gale force winds of this MS storm we sometimes find ourselves in. He really steps up to the plate. He always does. But I think this time it really fits, because he says he's struggling to find a purpose. And, I think we all can relate to that. But perhaps even more so because we're dealing every day with MS. And Devin here expresses his innermost thoughts that rise from the dark shadows of doubt and uncertainty. And he sheds light on the truth about whom we've become, or not, because of our MS experience, which is what we began talking about when we opened this call this morning. For instance, he says things like, and I'm quoting, "I know I'm tougher than I once was, and I've learned more about life in my time fighting this disease." And again, "I appreciate life a lot more now." And again, "So I'm working on finding that purpose. I may not have a clear answer yet, but I'm on the journey, and I'm working at it." And I say kudos, Devin, and more power to you, buddy, because we're all on this together. We're all in the same boat. And whether it's Marion, you, bless your heart, having a nasty fall this morning, or Sherry being stuck, snowed in a snowstorm, as vulnerable as that kind of feeling is, we've all find ourselves in the same boat, one way or another. So I'd like to read this to you, this article that Devin wrote, in case you didn't get it, or maybe you read it and just kind of skimmed over it. But there are some amazing points, I think, that apply to what's happening to some of us even here today on this Tuesday morning, February, what did I say it was, 12th? 2019. So let me take a sip of my orange juice, and let me read this to you. I want your opinion. One second.
Good morning.
The pause that refreshes, as they say. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Day. Glad you're here. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get started. I'm going to read this to you. It's, again, by Devin Garlit, and it's entitled "Struggling to Find a Purpose." Here's Devin. "Since I've been writing about my life with multiple sclerosis, I've covered a wide range of topics. Many of those will typically include pieces that discuss not necessarily a specific symptom, but the changes and emotion I or others encounter because of living with MS. While symptoms like pain, fatigue, and cognitive function are extremely difficult to live with on their own, the collective effect that this disease has had on my life is sometimes the most difficult to deal with. Now, one of the most unfortunate effects I struggle with often on a daily basis is trying to find my purpose in life. While not everybody with MS is on disability or forced to leave their career, there are many that are in just that situation, no longer able to work full-time and struggling to fill their days. Additionally, many people may still work, but their bodies allow for little more than that. They're still making a living, but perpetually paying that MS tax for it, leaving them with a tired life of, well, only work. And whether the disease takes your livelihood or your social life, or both, it can create feelings of unfulfillment and lead us to question our purpose in this life. What's a life when I'm not contributing and making a difference? What's a life if all it is work? Losing my career to MS has still been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with. It's a constant struggle and source of depression for me. Anyone that thinks that someone like me doesn't want to work has never been in this situation. Are there people out there that don't want to work? Well, sure. But for the most part, people that are pushed onto disability hate it. Aside from considerably less money, it can leave you feeling disgraced, isolated, and lonely. There are many people that are brought up like me with a strong work ethic who are disgusted that we aren't able to work. I spent a large part of my life preparing for my career and then working hard to excel in it. From grade school, from grade school through high school, college, and internships, I was fortunate enough to go to some very good schools, by the way, that had significant cost, first for my parents and then me, along with loads of professional experiences. All of that seems almost wasted now, particularly with chronic cognitive and memory issues. And then, starting at the bottom and working my way up, it was my life, and I loved it, all for it to be gone almost overnight. It's created a real identity crisis for me. Who am I if I'm not Devin, the software engineer? Yes, working isn't the sum of our life. My career wasn't all that identified me, but it was a pretty significant part of it. Your job isn't just a job. It also helps you afford your lifestyle. It fosters friendships, and it's integral to your entire life. So when it's gone, a lot of other things go right along with it. It's been several years now since I could no longer work in my career I spent my life preparing for, and I still find myself asking, what am I doing? Perhaps it's particularly rough because I'm single. I have no children, no legacy, just me and my awesome dog. I think if I had some sort of family of my own, I could tell myself, as many of you should, well, my job is to keep going and being as healthy as I can be for my family, that my presence is important to people, and that alone is enough. Having a chronic illness is no doubt a full-time job for many, particularly as it progresses. And that's a lot harder to think, though, when you're in my situation and still fairly young and unattached. No job, no family of my own, not much to do each day, not being able to do much each day either. Really, what am I doing? I don't say that for pity. I say it because I know there are others out there, just like me, thinking the exact same thing. What purpose do we have now? That's a serious question, and I don't have all the answers, not the ones I'd like anyway. I do like to think that everything I've gone through has prepared me for something. I know I'm tougher than I once was, and I've learned more about life in my time fighting this disease than I ever did in all those years of schooling and professional experiences. I know I appreciate life a lot more now, so I'm working on finding that purpose. That's what I'm doing now. I may not have a clear answer yet, but I'm on the journey, working at it, and you can be too. Life isn't over when our disease takes a lot from us. We simply have to survive, learn from it, adapt, and figure out what's next. And that's what I'm doing. And that is what Devin Garlit has to say about struggling to find a purpose. What do you guys think?
I just feel sad.
Hi, Virginia.
Hi.
Yeah,
I feel so sad. Like it, as if it isn't bad enough, but to not have any family.
I know.
Oh.
And being young, yeah.
Oh.
I know.
It's just breaking my heart.
Yeah. And sometimes when you have family, they don't want to be bothered. So, I understand what he's saying, but my heart goes out to him. It really goes out to him. But sometimes when you have family, and if you're not close to your family, or even if you're close to them, there are other people they have their own lives, and they sometimes ignore you.
I know, and Marion, if I'm going too far, you just stop me, all right? But I sense that that's kind of a sensitive subject for you today.
Oh, yeah.
You want to share, tell people what happened to you? Again, you don't, no obligation.
Yeah, I was coming down the stairs. I made it down. It's 14 stairs in my house. But if I had to listen to my parents, I wouldn't have bought this house. My father told me, don't buy a house with stairs in it, because when you get older, if you have health problems, then it's going to be a problem for you. I was like, I'm young, and my husband in the Army, and I heard him, but I didn't hear him. And I didn't listen, I should say. But I came down the stairs this morning. I got down to the last 2 stairs, and my legs went out, and I hit the floor. And so I had tried to get up, and my feet kept slipping, so I took my socks off, because I sleep with socks every night so I can use my socks to help pull my legs up. So if I get ready to go to the bathroom, I have to, get out the bed, then I sleep with the socks. So anyway, this time, and I had the footies on. I had the footies on with the little pads at the bottom to help you stay on your feet, on the floor. I took those off. I don't sleep in those. And I forgot to put them on this morning. So when I got down to the stairs, like I said, I got to the last 2 stairs, my legs locked up, and I hit the floor. Thank God I didn't get hurt. So I tried to get myself up. My brother and my niece does the cleaning in my house. She's here now. But I knew they were coming, so I'm short. So I get the bottom lock open, but the deadbolt lock, I'm too short, and the key barely could fit it. It couldn't fit in. I couldn't get it to fit into the lock so I can open the lock. So then I had to call my husband, and he had to come home from work and get me off the floor. So that's what happened to me this morning. But thank God I didn't get hurt. So I understand the article. I understand it fully. But like I said, and I had to call my husband home from work. They did, it was okay, because they did approve his FMLA. So they said if he needs me here, then he has to be, he can be here. So it didn't affect his job. So thank God he was able to leave. He said, okay, I'm on the way. And he answered the phone as soon as I called. But when he got here, he had, told me, he said, now, I'm not angry, but this is what I remember. He said, when I went to therapy with you, they told you to stand up all the way. I'm telling him I couldn't stand up all the way this time. And it's like hard to get him to understand. My legs wouldn't let me stand up all the way when I hit the floor. So I know in therapy they say stand up all the way before you attempt to do something, like especially if you're sitting down. So that's what happened to me this morning. But thank God, like I said again, I didn't get hurt, and my door was close to the door, but it wasn't so close. It's close enough for me to to hit it or anything like that. So to injure myself, I'm saying.
Thank God.
Yeah, glad you're okay.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I will start on Botox this week or next week, because they told me it's going to take a week for them to do the paperwork and all that in my doctor's office. And that Botox is supposed to take the spasticity away.
Yeah, let us know what that's all about and what your experiences are when you get on that. Be curious.
I sure will.
I haven't talked to anybody who's been on Botox. I'd be curious to see what happens to you. Well, yeah, Marion, we're just so glad you're okay. And
thank you.
It's those kinds of things, I guess, that are so unpredictable We all know. I mean, and not everybody takes a fall. For some people, it's other things, in other ways. But the result is the same. And you started to say, Marion, where I was going to take this too is that, which is what Devin's talking about in the article. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I agree with you guys. My heart just goes out to the guy because. Pretty rough the way he's feeling, but he's honest.
Yeah.
We gotta say, Devin doesn't pull any punches. He tells us how he feels every time, and that's a good thing. But what he's saying, what we're backing him up on, is that getting people to understand, and it's is pretty tough, and it's kind of a boomerang effect, I think, for us, because for us, whether it's a fall like Marion took, or maybe an embarrassing moment. I can really relate to that. It's a boomerang and a domino effect too, because it's not always over that moment for us. You know what I mean? In other words, Marion, I know you were helped up, and or if it's a physical accident like that, or in another case, if it's an embarrassing situation, embarrassing moment, that will pass quickly. But the effects are still there, and the person or the people around you are also still there, and they may be or maybe not still shedding their opinion. But and that opinion is not always what you want to hear. And
exactly.
I've always, I've raised my kids, and I told them, I said, words are things. Words can heal, or words can kill you.
That's
they
true.
are things, and people can use words as weapons.
Oh,
dreadful thing. You relate to that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I found that interesting, Marion, what you were saying about therapy.
Can you lay my bed down? A little.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm listening.
Are you saying that, they're teaching you something in therapy, and that's all fine and good, but then when you are in your own situation, the therapy, you dismiss it from your mind. You're trying to survive at that moment.
Right. I didn't dismiss it from my mind, but my body does. I tell him when I control my body, I can't control it. Sometimes it does what it does, and it does what it does. And you don't. Of course, you don't want to fall and hurt yourself. I mean, he didn't think I was falling on purpose to hurt myself. But I said my legs locked up. When they lock up, what am I supposed to do? They locked up.
Yeah. So what happens to you then? Therapy doesn't help.
Right. So that's what I was telling him. My legs locked up. So you're going to tell me, like, if I have to use the bathroom, then, he'd tell me, you're sitting there too long. Well, and he means well, I know that. But if I'm trying to get off the toilet and my body not allowing me to do it, then I'm going to sit there because I don't want to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who is it that's not thinking that this is a good idea?
Oh, no, this was my husband. He's concerned, saying, why, asking me. He said, I really want to help you. Well, you can't help me if my body not acting right. Nobody can help me but God. So that's the thing. And then, if the Botox is supposed to, my feet feel like they've been like this for about a year. They feel like rubber bands are wrapped around them. And they've been like this. Really, really tight. So that's what, they're going to give me the injections in my feet. And it's supposed to help my feet and my legs for spasticity. So, and they said it takes 2 to 4 weeks for you to feel the effects of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you all know. Because I don't start on it until probably next week anyway.
Well, I hope it works great for you.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They can do so much with Botox now. Yeah.
Let's continue where we were, because this is really the heart of the matter. This is the meat and potatoes right here, which Devin Devin led us into this. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah.
But he hits the nail on the head, doesn't he? And because we all can relate in our own individual environments, our MS environments. Like I was saying, we have the lasting effects emotionally, I think, of whatever it is, whether it's a fall like Marion took, whether it's an embarrassing moment that does not involve any physical failure or physical malfunction. It could be, a cognitive thing or, whatever. I mean, there's just, a dozen things to select from that could happen. But it's the reaction that Devin's talking about and we're talking about now, the reaction of people, of those around us. And it can be a lasting effect. And I believe this contributes to what he's talking about, struggling to find a purpose. Because it's kind of like the way I see it, 2 steps forward, 1 back. 2 steps forward, 1 back. And you're always on the lookout for that 1 step back, and you're always having to go back and try and fix it. And when I say fix it, meaning fixing it inside yourself. Not fixing your legs, not fixing your embarrassing moment. No, not that. That's gone. We can't revisit that. Those moments have passed. But the effects, this is like a cause and effect kind of thing. And the after effects of this stuff will do a number on you. Mm-hmm. Don't you agree?
Yep.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think that we're always trying to figure out what is next. What's going to be the next thing that happens?
That too. And Carol, does that put you on the defensive a little bit? And as far as doing things or, wanting to be spontaneous, gee, I think I'll get up and walk into the next room right now. Does it stop you from doing stuff?
Well, it depends on how I'm feeling, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I can't make it in, if I'm having problems and can't make it into the next room, I guess I just don't go. Whereas if somebody, if they saw you doing that, they probably would, or they think that you can do it. But sometimes you just cannot.
That's what Marion was saying. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what Marion was saying.
Yeah. That's what she went through.
Yeah, they're training her, and I'm sure doing an excellent job in therapy. Well, here, Marion, you go ahead and take this exercise or whatever and practice it at home or remember it the next time, as you pointed out to her before. And she does.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Right. But, I'm done with therapy now, and this is what they taught me. I have another prescription to start, and I haven't started yet. But I remember, and they gave me exercises, sheets of paper to do exercises at home. And I exercise just about every day at one time, but then I haven't really done a lot of exercises for about 2 weeks because of my legs locked up and my feet just wouldn't allow me to do it. But anyway, I do as much as I can do. And then another thing that happened to me, and I ignored it, and it was my ear, and it's still going on now. My ear started hurting, and it wasn't hurting so bad for me to go to the emergency room or anything like that, I didn't think. But then about 3 or 4 nights ago, I was in my bed, and I woke up in some excruciating pain with my ear and my throat. So I took some of the medicine, and then I ignored it, and then the next night, same thing happened. And then I'm talking to my daughter and one of her friends on the phone, and I was saying some stupid stuff. I was like, what? And and when they told me what I had said, I knew that I had said it, but I told my daughter at one time I was going to start drinking a little bit of red wine and I don't drink at all. And I told her that. I said, because I'm told that it's good for the body to, stimulate the body and do things like that. And so she said, well, Mommy, if you start drinking wine, then I know I'm going to start drinking it too because she don't drink. And then what I told them, I'm sitting there talking on the phone, and I said, I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, what? And then they was like, Mommy. She said, Mommy, you're an alcoholic. You. Yeah, she said, you don't even drink. And so then she said, what are you talking about? And then I don't use profanity at all. And then a profanity word didn't slip out, but it was about to slip out, and I was like, "Oh, I better get checked out." I was talking crazy out
Time
of my
to go to bed.
Yeah, I was talking, really crazy out of my head, and I remember saying that stuff, so they weren't lying on me. And so then I went to the doctor, saw a nurse practitioner on Sunday, and she checked my right ear, and she said it's wax in it, which is normal. In the left ear, she said the right ear is really, really red. So I said, is there an ear infection? She said, no, something's going on with your body, so I'm going to put you on antibiotics. And so now I've been on antibiotics, and she said, I'm not going to give it to you one dose. You're going to have to take 2 doses a day. I'm like, okay. So now my ear, it was bothering me again last night. So, I took some gabapentin, and it really, I took a stronger dose because my doctor had gave me 300 milligrams of pill and a 600. So this time I didn't do the 300, I did the 600, and it helped my ear. So, so stuff been going on with me.
Yeah.
Have you been checked for vertigo possibly?
Oh, I was diagnosed with vertigo probably about maybe 15 years ago or longer. So, yeah, I've been checked for that. And that's another thing. My head started swimming, but it was swimming on my right ear, and it was swimming only on the right hand side of my face. And I was like, what? So I went and got checked. So, anyway.
Well, it's a good thing you did that. It's a good thing you did that.
Thank you, yeah. So, I mean, it's like I'm taking over the whole conversation today of stuff that's been going on with me.
Fine. You're
That's
fine.
right.
That's fine.
We want to hear.
That's why we're here.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, Virginia, thanks. Yeah, you said it. That's why we're. That's exactly
okay,
why we're.
Thanks. Yeah.
Marianne,
Well, guys,
did they ever come?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Did they ever come up with anything about what is causing the vertigo?
Well, they didn't say vertigo this time. That was when probably 15 years ago.
Yeah, I meant 15 years in the past. Did they ever come up with anything that was causing the vertigo?
No, because my father, you know how they do the family history, and my father, when he was living, he used to say it called it swimming in the head. He said he had swimming in the head, and he would pass out and stuff. So they diagnosed him with vertigo, so they just put it as a family thing. Looked at it as a family.
I know what you're talking about now, and it's terrible. A friend of mine has it, and she'll be fine 1 minute, and the next minute she's sorry to say this, but she's vomiting, and her head is just swimming, and it's just the worst thing you could ever, well, not the worst thing you could ever get, but a terrible, terrible thing.
Right, and then my father would vomit, and he would have to lay down. He has to lay down. He would have to lay down.
But then his head is still swimming.
Right.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
You guys, I had been bothered with a lot of dizziness, vomiting, and I couldn't stand up. Many, many things had been going on with me. And now I was told by a neurologist, I have a history of migraine, and she thought that the dizziness was due to migraine. Now, and I suffered through this for about more than 5 years. Now, several months ago, I found out it was due to Meniere's disease.
Meniere's? Yeah.
My
dad had. Okay, my dad had Meniere's disease, so I was familiar with it. And when my dizziness started, I presumed the doctors that I went to, and it was an ear, nose, and throat guy, and this neurologist, I presumed they ruled out Meniere's. I had it written in my family history.
Right.
Anyway, here I went to again to this ear, nose, and throat guy, and it was, I was diagnosed with Meniere's. Right away and he suggested it. I was watching my sodium intake, and since I've been doing that, I have not had any dizziness.
Good.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Good.
Praise God.
Sodium. Huh? Wow.
Oh, that is I've always known that people with Meniere's, you want to watch your salt intake.
Oh.
Yes. If and if people people in your life are having a lot of dizziness. My dad never vomited, but he'd fall over,
Yeah.
And I went through a lot of, I could not be up, and I could tell you all kinds of nerve-wracking stories what happened to me, but I was vomiting a lot. And because Dad never vomited, in my own mind, and I was talking to one of my sisters, because right away we thought of Meniere's, but I was thinking, well, I've been vomiting with it a lot. And so I was thinking it wasn't, pardon me?
A lot of people vomit with migraines too, though.
Yeah, and actually that, right? Today I'm getting a migraine. I can feel it coming on.
Oh, Carol.
Does the weather have anything to do with that, Carol?
Oh, Sue Ellen, I've had migraine all my life.
I was wondering what might.
I've tried to figure out, what it is, and I haven't ever. It's a much better day today than what it was yesterday. I know, you guys, yesterday. Okay, I have been very, very tired, and a lot of new things have been happening to me. I can't. I guess I better not go into those things, but yesterday I felt better, and I did more. I got work done.
You had a good day?
But, yes. But then today, I have known this, that a lot of times before I get a migraine, I will have a very good day. I'll get a lot of work done. I'll do more work on that day than what I did the previous month, And my work had, when I say my work, I'm talking about my paperwork, my things that have to get done, that have been neglected. But now today, I can just feel this coming on. I'll probably be on the couch the rest of the day.
Sure. You know what? Did I ever tell you about the medicine that I was given for migraines that took them away?
Yes, the Enderel thing.
Or propranolol, it's called. Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to try it?
This neurologist that I went to, like, when this started, that somehow that was like, she put me on nortriptyline, and she wanted me to really try that, and that's a antidepressant. It was a low-dose nortriptyline. Well, I was always thinking, see,
antidepressant.
I went, she was going to put me on that, and then other things happened, and then she decided not to. It had something to do with my blood pressure.
Well.
And I'm not taking the nortriptyline anymore. I took myself off of it.
Yeah.
And I think I have as many headaches as what I was taking the nortriptyline for the dizziness, but when I really, when I would keep track of when I was dizzy on a chart, and when I think I realized it wasn't doing any good, to tell you the truth.
Did you ever get a chance to say that you'd heard about Inderol or propranolol?
Yes, we did talk. She was going to put me on that, and then she wanted me to not do it because there was something with my blood pressure. I wanted to try that, but I haven't.
Okay.
Pardon me?
I'm just exasperated here because it is such an effective medicine. I mean, you take one tablet a day and you don't get migraines anymore. That's how
Virginia,
it works for me.
Then I wish you would talk to this neurologist. I am a little bit, you guys, when I think about it, I suffered through a heck of a lot of dizziness and vomiting and all. And since I watched my sodium intake, which was kind of an easy thing to do, I have not really had any real dizziness.
So
you know, you guys,
Val, is that you? Let me let Val in here. Is that you, Val?
It is.
How are you today?
I am doing great.
When did you get on the call? I didn't hear you come in.
It was a while ago. I haven't been listening to you guys, but I would like to say that I have accepted. I'm going to get a lift, because I'm using the vehicle and really hard on my husband. So we're getting a lift.
Oh.
We're going to use our van and then load my scooter.
That's terrific.
That's great.
Good
news.
Yeah.
Now, see, it took me a long time to accept this because I guess I didn't want to look like it was anything wrong with me.
No.
We can relate.
Yeah.
Keep going. We can relate.
Yeah.
Join the crowd.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why don't you put on your prettiest outfit and get on that lift and just let them look at this beautiful lady going up on the lift? Boy, she must have lots of money.
Yes, as they're all taking pictures of you.
That's right.
Beautiful.
That's right. Have everybody around you with cameras, your whole family. Yeah, taking pictures.
That's cute. Now, Val, I want to know what you think about this conversation. I asked you when you came on. I didn't know if you heard me read the article of Devin, by the way. And by the way, Toretta, thank you for sending me that. She sent me something about Devin is on Facebook, so I'm going to check him out over there afterwards.
I found him. I found him on Facebook, and I found him in my news feed, so I went to his page.
Mhm. Did you communicate with him, or?
I sent him a message.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So hopefully he'll respond back to me.
Is he aware of the group?
I don't know if he's aware of it. It's just he has a Facebook page, and he talks about it because I was in my news feed, came up, and it was in a bunch of articles. And I was like, Devin, wait a minute. I know this is not the Devin we're on the phone talking about now. And sure enough, it was. And I was wow.
I know.
Well,
that's him because he describes himself as with a big beard, and he's a young guy. You know, everybody, he's a young guy, but he has a beard because he can't shave without hurting himself. Poor guy. You know, and he doesn't know. You know, I mean, holding a razor or shaver, something that's a cutting instrument is not a good idea. He says. So he's let the beard grow. So when I saw that, I knew that was obviously the right one. So, I know. And listen, invite him on Heart Talk. Gosh, wouldn't that be fun?
I bet someday he'll join us on Heart Talk.
Would love it. So. Oh, I mean, he's so, it's so rare and so refreshing. And you guys collectively are so rare and refreshing because really to get somebody, like Devin and all of us, to talk about these forbidden subjects, it's
especially with where he's at right now.
I know. I saw that, struggling to find a purpose, and it just, oh man, that hit me straight in the heart. I know it did you too.
He has a lot of articles. I mean, a lot of.
I know.
Yeah, he's putting the word out there. I think we should respond. Another
thing. I'm sorry. Another thing that was going on is stress. Okay, when stress gets through, then it affects the body. Last week, I found 5 of my family members. I was like, oh my God, these are my first and second cousins. One was in the hospital, and they said he had stroke on both sides of his body, and then he had a brain tumor, a clot too. So we had him in the hospital and in ICU. Then another family member, first cousin, she was diagnosed with I cancer, and they said that she was having problems with diarrhea, so they put her in the hospital. Then another cousin, she was diagnosed with neophrobrosis with the tumors, and she was in the hospital as the second cousin. Mm-hmm. Then another cousin, they said that he had to have, because of diabetes, his blood wasn't circulating, and they're talking about amputating one of his big toe and his bottom toe. Then another cousin, who was the first cousin, she's in the hospital now in ICU because she had her kidney shut down and her liver shut down, and she has liver fibrosis, and then she's in intensive care and some more stuff going on with her. I was like, oh, my God, all these first and second cousins at one time, 5 of them. So then that affected me. And so then here is my husband. He didn't know, and we're having a conversation, and he was getting on my nerves. And, I mean, I know he loved me. I'm not doubting that at all. We've been married for 35 years. He was getting on my nerves, and so then when he didn't know what was going on with the relatives, and then when I told him, then he calmed down. And so that, and then my ear started. I was like, and then I fell. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
All that. You know,
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, and they're saying that if you want to see one of my cousins, the one with the kidneys and the liver problem, and then if you want to see her, then get to the hospital because it's not looking good. And a nurse told me they was expecting her to expire. I was like, oh my God. And she and I are really close, and so so all that stuff going on at one time, 5 of them at one time.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I've had death all around. Once again, it struck again, and I'm like, oh, Lord, I can't do another funeral. So I bowed out to do these last few funerals, and I was like, I cannot do it. I just cannot go. So I didn't go. I stayed at home. I said it's better for me to remember them the way they were, the happy times that we had and enjoyed, because going is just going to put my body at stress, even if I don't want to be, but it's going to make me feel some type of way. So the best thing to do is just stay at home and, continue life on like I do every day, because it's been so much. I know it's going to happen to all of us, don't get me wrong, but when it does happen, it's like it hits you like a ton of bricks, and it's like, what do? It's like you just tumble down and you're just down there for a minute until you can pick yourself back up.
Right.
So, most definitely, I understand what you're saying. Having so many people that at one time going through something puts your body and your mind through something as well, especially when you're close to them. That's the hardest when you're close. So I definitely understand how you feel, honey.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very well put. And Toretta, if I can take that a little step further, we, I would feel as you do, that after a certain point, there's, it's sort of like life draws a line in the sand, and if you cross it, you could be in trouble, stress-wise, and all that, the domino effect that comes along with that. But you've got to say, no, I've got to leave it here. I've got to cut it off right here because I need to protect myself, because your limits. I hate to use that word limits, but that is what it is.
You know what? Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And the thing is that it's crazy because, I told you I've been doing really well, but with all of this happening again, it's like, oh, my God, here comes the numbness is coming back, the tingling's coming back in my hand, and I'm like, that was gone away. What happened? I don't know if it's just the fact that, everything that's going on and the people that I'm close to now, they're gone. I don't know if that's what's affecting my body. I just have no control over it, and I'm just like, okay, Lord, I know I'm supposed to go through things, and I thank you. But, come on, Lord, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
So, God, just, humble me and keep me going, because I've been doing so well, and it's all because of you and, the things that you have blessed me with. So, let's not let this be, especially in the month that I've got diagnosed to be found out that I had MS. Don't let it come back, But, it happens, and maybe it's meant to happen. I don't know. But right now, that's what I'm going through. It's like I haven't left the house and going on almost a week, and everybody's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, guys, right now I'm just going to stay at home. I'm not going to any funeral services. I don't want to hear about, hey, Toretta, you need to get up and move around. I just want to stay at home, rest, and be okay because I feel something coming about, and I don't want to progress it. So at this moment in time, I've got to stand still, stand fast, and just pray and, hope that this is not what it's meant to be, to come about, that it will stay at bay and not arise, So that's what I've been doing, is staying at home and just trying to relax and, hopefully I don't hear anything else. But again, yesterday I was presented with another death, and I was like, I don't know them. And Lord have mercy, when they said who it was, I was like, oh, no, Lord, no. And I'm just like, I know it's going to be a time for all of us. I even have my date coming along. But just to, just to hear and know these people and be close to these people, either one point in life or you grew up with them, it's hard. It's hard to not know that you're going to be able to see them again or hear their voices. So it's been like, oh, my God, and I'm like, if all of this is hitting me and I know all these people, then God is saying I'm one of his strongest soldiers. I should be able to handle this. So why am I not being able to handle it?
Let me jump in here for a minute. Let me jump in here in a minute because I don't I think this is where we need to caution ourselves. Is at that point you're talking about right now, the juncture. You don't want guilt. Because listen, hear me very clearly on this.
Yes.
Because I'm going to say it again. We live in a physical world. And I know I harp on this, but it's true. And this is a perfect example, Toretta, of what you're saying. We live in a physical world. That means, what does that mean? That means that the laws of physics apply to all of us. And we mustn't feel bad about ourselves or any, quote, condition we may have simply because the physical stuff we have, meaning muscles and bones and eyeballs and fingernails and toenails and all that good stuff and all the inner workings might not be up to par or right where we want them to be at the time, therefore causing us a little grief, no pun intended. And so we cannot allow ourselves that, because what does that do? That oh my goodness, I'm letting other people down. Oh my goodness, I'm failing at this or that, or I'm not up to par. And that creates guilt. What does guilt create? Stress. That's exactly what we're talking about here, and we don't want that. You have to have that realistic. Back to Devin, the realistic outlook, and the realistic outlook is. This is what we're dealing with. The laws of physics apply to everybody, and we need to sharpen our thinking along those lines. Guys, we're coming up to almost the top of the hour. We've got maybe 3 or 4 minutes left, and I want to hear your closing remarks before we move to the prayer portion. But I think that is, does that make sense, Toretta? That makes sense to you?
It makes a lot of sense. Yes, it does. And that's what I keep trying to tell myself, that this is part of life. This is the law of physics. This is going to happen, right. And there is no control we have over it, So don't feel guilty or don't think that,
right.
It's bad. Because
right.
It's not bad. It's part of life. But, it's hard to, like I say, to redirect myself around that. And I'm just like, but, these people need me, or I've been there for them. And, it's just my heart. I told you I just know too many people.
Well, this is temporary. You know what, though, and we all do it. We all forget that this is temporary here where we are. Our life on earth is temporary. It's like I said, I think I was talking to you guys last week, and when I was saying, or somebody, we all come into the world the exact same way.
Yes.
Exact same, like it or not, we're all born into this life, into this world on planet Earth the exact same way. We don't deviate, one birth from the other. And you know what? We exit the same way.
That's right.
And we come in, with me, myself, and I. buck naked every time. Here we come in and out we go. And everything that we get in between, well, maybe it's good and maybe it's not so good, depending. But it's temporary. It's temporary. So you're right. Those people that you know and that you knew, you'll see them again. That wonderful pet doggy you had or kitty cat, same thing. They'll be there waiting for you.
Yeah.
And you'll run to greet them.
I would just like to add that if I heard earlier people talking about vertigo, dizziness, that if you know of someone who is plagued with a lot of dizziness, and if the doctors are not coming up with a reason for it, they might want to just try taking sodium out of their diet to see how they feel.
Okay.
I don't mean to take sodium out of your diet completely because no one can do that, but to really lower it and see if that does not help get rid of their dizziness.
Okay, good, great suggestion. All right, we've got to move along because we are out of time. Does anybody else have any other closing remarks they'd like to make on what we're talking about, or anything else?
Yeah, I just say right quick. My father was diagnosed also with Meniere's disease, and when he took the sodium out of his diet, then it did him better. He would just have spices only. My mother would cook with spices for his food. He had a rack of them. So I agree with you on that.
Okay, great suggestion. All right, we've got one minute left before we go into the prayer portion. Anyone else like to make a comment in closing on this subject or anything else before we move on?
Well, I have a comment. Somebody else has something to say? Okay, right? Okay. I have something I want to say about Dr. Cartwright's book, but I do not want to say it over the air simply because it's kind of it's a very touchy subject, I guess you could say. But so I don't really want to say anything about it other than I'm starting to feel much better in more areas than one. And I'm not just it's
that's great.
Wow.
No, you're
awesome.
And I'm looking for your email, so put that in an email to me, okay? That would be great.
If I remember to do that.
All right, I'll look for it. Okay, we are out of time as far as the talking points and all that, but I think it's been a fabulous hour talking to you guys and visiting this subject and others. So and very, very good points, well taken on all the way around. But now it's time for us to move into the prayer portion of our call. And for those of you who are not familiar, maybe joining us live here on the call or on the replay for the first time, let me tell you what the prayer portion is. I believe that Heart Talk was no accident and how it came about, and maybe just a wee bit of divine intervention somewhere along the line. So we want to say thank you, and we want to say thank you to our Lord Jesus Christ for bringing us together. And as a result, because of that, we end every call with a prayer and reading the names on the prayer list, which is so important. So before we do that, let me ask, are there any new names to go on the prayer list this week?
Yes, there's Shawnee, Marie.
Oh, hang on. I got to grab my pen. I'm sorry. Shawnee, Marie,
Letitia, Michael, and Elizabeth.
Okay, I'm sorry. Shawnee, I'm still on Marie.
Michael, Letitia, and Elizabeth.
And then Elizabeth.
Yeah, those are my 5 family members that I was talking about.
Wonderful. We got them. Okay. Shawnee, Marie, Michael, Letitia, and Elizabeth. They are on the prayer list.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, let's begin. So we will now go from our comment editorial portion into the prayer portion of our call. And let us begin with a prayer, and then I will read the names on the prayer list. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your divine intervention into the lives of so many that need your help. We ask that you answer our fervent prayers to help those who are in need and afflicted with multiple sclerosis and other ailments and diseases that are interfering with their lives and in many cases, Lord, crippling their lives. And as we read these names aloud now, Father, we ask that the Holy Spirit move through these lines of communication that are connecting us all around the world, and that the Holy Spirit will carry our voices together with our prayers into the heavens, and that you will hear our prayers and grant comfort to those who ask for your divine intervention in their lives, for them and for their families, and grant them healing, to restore them to good health, and that you'll cover them with your blessings and divine presence and protection. We thank you, Father, for hearing our prayers. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
And I will now read the names on the prayer list. One moment, please. Donnell, Linda, Sandra, Erica, Shamang, Dyke, Carlos in Canada, Janet Carroll and family, Tish and Luke Roskams in the UK, Mary Ferris, Jeremy Mann, Julie Perkins, Rayshawn Jefferson, Damon Jones, Scotty Williams, Barbara Cleary in the UK, Linda Hawley, Sylvia, Greg Evenson and family, Arthur Marsalis, Veronica Lewis, Tanya Thompson, Kathy Pedrick, Mark, Francine Mancari, Tamala Lewis and family, Michelle, Joe in the UK, Carol in Iowa, Edie in Missouri, Alberta in Kansas, Will in Konachek, Sandra Mullen in Canada, Susan, Russ Disdar and family, Donna and Nathan Leal, Kathleen in Boston, Frankie and Melissa and Destiny in Boston, Tracy Whiting, Clint and Cliff in Kansas, Phyllis in Kansas, Jennifer in the UK, Linda Jean, Sherry Gudgeon, Sabrina Sutton, Tracy Thacker, Melanie Monteith, Edie Neal, Sybil Winham, Manfred Pauli in Venezuela, Donna and son Andrew, Mubin in Cape Town, South Africa, Rona, Noor, Rami, Ferris, Muhammad, Johan, Travis and Ellen Thacker, John, Tommy and family, Dennis Walker, Faye, Maria Dulce in South Africa, Jennifer, Charlotte Matrisic, Maria in Nevada, Louise in Alabama, Patty in Alabama, Sybil Wyndham, Gloria, Contessa, Mrs. Disney, Ladios, Dr. Paul Hegstrom, Lorraine, Irene, Lydia, Mike Newcomb, Beverly, Raza, Jason, Charlene Kelly, Danielle and Fanielle in Toronto, Frankie, Robert, Stacy, Judy, Sarah, Sherry, Ron and Marge, Tim and Michelle, Constance Wadlington, Toretta, Glenda, Larry Nichols, Melanie, Floyd, Amy and Eric Olson, Trudy, Gladys, Gerald Taylor, Diamond, Gregory, Irma, Travis John, Ertis, DeMarcus, Anne, Richard Brezen, Helen, Pearl, Irma, Grace, Rebecca, Linda and Joe in the UK, Dan and Jason Junker, Dion, Joshua and Johnny, Kalila, Aralee, the Marsh family, Julie Mullins, the Grant Anderson family, Chad Cowan, Randy Guerra, Barry Wolcott, Tina and CJ, Ray, Mackenzie, Deborah, Sally, Joe and family, Gina, Mary in Alaska, Veronica Thomas, Karen, Michael Freeman, Megan, Trudy, Jeremiah Mask, Gwenady in Russia, Jeff Olson, Kelly in Texas, Jennifer in Kansas, Geneva Norris, Latasha Coleman, Seth Thomas, Jim Thomas and family, Tanisha Washington, Cindy, Guillermo, Eula Cooper, Robert Alexander, Leo Torres, Chris Elias and family, Jeff London and family, Jared and John Chambers and family, Eddie Tiny, Leslie Cavazos, Ryan Cadillo, Aaron Marsh, Jimmy in the UK, Valerie and Hillary Perry, Blanche Collins, Flick Mays, Michael Kuhlman, the Pope family, the Baldonado family, Mary Jo in Fargo, Danielle Duran, Dr. Marty Sanders, the Hargrave crew, Lena Davis family, Sharon in London, Billy Medlock, Lola Striggles, Rondella Canida, Dave McCartney and family, Nicole, Shay Standifer and family, Billy Coleman, Rita Nixon, James Grace, Alton Johnson, the Johnson family, Tracy and Alice Daniels, the Elias family, Arlen, Kathy and Al Matthews, Deborah Yars de Lorenzo, Chadrick Watson, Kevin Giles, Eric, the Collins family, the Johnson family, Trevia Powell Clark and family, Ray LaBelle, Tony Delsey, Edward McFarland, Seth, Malaya Marnie Horton Fisher, Abe Martinez, Roscoe, Hattie Battle, Alberta and Chuck, Isabel, Enoch Bryant, Sister Wanda Burke, Anthony Canida, Trinity Johnson, Curtis Warren, Susan Trotter, Rhonda Pryor, Wanda Burke, James Washington, Enoch Bryant's family, Aretha McKinney, Lee Pittman, Blessed Harteben, Andre Giles, Penny, Bonnie, Loretta, Ray Charles, Wayne Jones Jr., Kadisha Cooper, Becky and family, Ashia and Kanisha Morrison, Jeff Olson family, Sybil Morrison family, Trelina Hope, the Gafford family, Emily Aguilar and family, Shaladra Kelly, Ann Downs, Irvin Gudgeon, Latosha Coleman, Jackie Clark, Don Orth, Jason Kirkaby, Denise Doobie, Miss Stapleton, the Moody family. And Father, the following are the names of the children who perished in that tragic fire. Adrian Hernandez, age 14. Ariel Garcia, age 5. Xavier Contreras, age 11. Nathan Contreras, age 11. Cesar Contreras, age 14. Maya Alvarez, age 3 months. Lonnie Ayaya, age 3. Graylani Ayaya, age 5. Giovanni Ayaya, age 10. And Victor Mendoza, age 16. Ricky LaRotha, Paula, Netta, the Flores family, Rose Cummins, Val Hayward, the May family, Zafonso Davis, Michelle, Mac, Taylor, Ray, Allen, Willie Alton, Asila Freeman, Johnny Blair Jr., Alicia, the Berguano family, the Lake of Stamford, Kashari Warren, Christopher Anders, May Thomas, Kali Parson, Lisa Abe, Joe Moore Sr., Joshua Judkin, Rachel, Dylan, Wanda, Gordon Biffle, Demarion Coleman, Mary Cox, Beth, Megan, Zachary, Stephanie Giles, Tevin Giles, Eileen Matthews family, the Crawford family, Veronica Enriquez, Dante, Marche, Emerson, Pryor, Leon, Nikki, Roy Collins, Steve Lefevre, the Moody family, the Sanders family, Hezekiah, Matty Lisa Eggenhagen, Jamie Kloss family, Shaney, Susie, Jackie McDonald, Letitia, Joan Ruffey, Shawnee, Marie, Michael, Letitia, Elizabeth. And I will leave you with this. Lord, help me to remember that nothing is going to happen to me today that you and I can't handle. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Guys,
Amen.
thank you for joining all of us today, for hanging out with me, and like I said, this hour just speeds by. I don't know where the time goes. I really don't. But it's been a joy talking with you and visiting with you and sitting around this old wooden table, this old kitchen table, right? But it's time to push the chairs back and say goodbye for now. So I'm going to turn you back out into the world. I'm going to let you go. I don't want to, but I must, because time's up for now. But let's get back together again next Tuesday, and we'll all meet up again right here on Heart Talk. Next Tuesday morning, same time, same station, as they say. But in the meantime, as I send you back out into the world, just know that you are in my thoughts and prayers. I love each and every one of you very much, and none of that will ever change. So for now, as I let you go have a wonderful day, a great week ahead. Be safe out there. Watch the weather and keep your eyes open. And until then, until next time, I'll be seeing you. You take care.
God bless you all.
Be
Love
well.
you all.
Well, blessings to all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, love all of y'all, and happy Valentine's Day to all you guys.
Happy Valentine's Day to all of you.
Yeah. Thank you. Love you guys.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.